Alright, YouTube. So, today I want to talk about, why it's been brought to my attention that people are confused, people who are anti-Gamergate are confused why, these three women are being attacked. These three women being, Anita Sarkeesian, Zoe Quinn, and Brianna Wu. Um, I'm going to start off again by saying that I am completely pro Gamergate, and that being said, I do not condone whatsoever any sort of hate speech, um, threats, any of that. I think that it is the weakest form of fighting for what you believe. It's a cowardly way to go. You shouldn't try to frighten somebody into submission to get your point across. That's illogical. Um, Another thing that I do want to go ahead and throw out there is I'm speaking for myself. Um, I can speculate as a blogger on views of groups as a whole, but I'm not going to take one person and lump the whole entire group on either side, to, condone what one person did, which is kind of what the media did to pro Gamergaters. When somebody, made threats to Brianna Wu, and then suddenly she's saying, I've been harassed, and I'm scared for my life, and I'm running for my life, and all this nonsense. And they kind of lumped all of Gamergate to that, and kind of threw us in a group together, which is wrong. The media really, really approached that wrongly and did a huge injustice to people who are pro Gamergate, because that Gamergate is in no way, shape, or form, my perspective of it, no way, shape, or form trying to keep females out of the gaming industry. Female. There's no way, shape, or form trying to keep a female out of the industry, or hating on these women because they're women. That's not the case at all. In the Huffington Post interview, on stream yesterday, some of the people, with the exception of Georgina, who's more of a neutral party, she pointed out, when I think, what's his name, Jesse, threw out that the threats that Anita Sarkeesian had received, that they were from Gamergaters, and that's what we were doing, that's what the movement was, and that's not the case. Most of the more vocal voices in Gamergate have said numerous times to stop attacking one another. It's definitely not one-sided, which is what the media really portrayed it to be. For one thing, there are, lots of screenshots where people who are anti-Gamergate have threatened people that are from Gamergate. So it's definitely a two-sided thing. There are radicals on every side of every opposition, ever. And there's always going to be radicals. But to lump the group together is nonsense. You wouldn't say, all Germans are evil just because you don't agree with the Nazi party. Not all Germans were Nazis. That's the best example I can give off the top of my head. as far as, you know, lumping people together. That's wrong. So all that being said, let me get back to the point. The reason why these three women are brought up so much. And Zoe Quinn, the issues that brought her to light were in some ways not Zoe Quinn's fault. And I say this because Zoe Quinn can bang whoever she wants to. That is her initiative, that's her business, it's nobody else's business. However, who really, really was in the wrong was any journalist who slept with her, or not even slept with her, had a personal relationship, whether it be positive or negative, with Zoe Quinn, and then reviewed her for better or for worse. That is a biased piece of journalism. If they're not being honest about having some sort of relationship. And nobody has to say, none of these journalists had to say, well, before I do this review, I need to acknowledge the fact that Zoe Quinn has been spreading her legs for me. Nobody has to say that, but you have to say, I know Zoe on a personal level. Something of that general standard needs to go in their piece if they're going to continue to write a piece on. Otherwise, they should probably just choose to not write a piece on her, because it is very, very hard to keep your personal opinion out of anything you're working on when you have a personal, up-close relationship with anyone. And that's how it's been for a long time. That's not something new that Gamergate just threw out there. Why is it on job applications are you not supposed to give family members as your reference? Well, because they're going to give you the best review of your work as they can, because they want you to succeed. You don't want to put your ex on the application, because your ex might, to be spiteful, give you a terrible review just to try to destroy you, try to hurt you, try to see you fail. So it definitely plays out both ways. It didn't have anything to do with Zoe Quinn being a female. However, once stuff started to come to light, my honest opinion is she made a mistake. She kind of brought more attention to herself, kind of trying to lie to kind of cover her tracks and be super indignant, instead of either ignoring it or just owning up to it. She could have done one or the other, and she kind of didn't. She kind of really made herself this focal point, and started saying how she was being harassed, and I'm sure there were some radicals that did have some hateful things to say to her, but that is not every person that is pro Gamergate's belief. And people were definitely getting onto her for being a hypocrite, especially when she had come up with this whole spiel about how cheating is rape. And people found that especially distasteful because of her previously stated beliefs on the matter, only to hear that she hadn't been faithful. That it struck everybody as extremely hypocritical, and everybody was very annoyed by that. And really, I think a lot of people are annoyed, Gamergate or not, a lot of people are annoyed by feminism and its hypocrisy. And I mean, you guys probably know what I'm talking about. You know, they they like to go on about how they're about equality, don't they? And I have yet to see very many females fight for something um, male oriented. It's all kind of about them. Equality doesn't begin or end with feminism. It doesn't. Um, Equality ends with everybody, and it's not just one sex or the other, and it's very frustrating. So that's how Zoe Quinn initially was brought up. I don't think that people um, were attacking her at all for being a woman. Um, and they like to say, I've seen a lot of people say, well, if it was a guy instead of a woman, uh, you know, Zoe would be patted on the back for sleeping around. Well, I don't think that's the case. Um, and in fact, I have to say that a lot of people went after those journalists to try to question these journalists on why they didn't indulge the fact that they had a personal relationship with her. I don't feel like Zoe really had anything to do with that. You know, these people were kind of defending her, but kind of um, I don't know. It was very confusing. Um, but people questioned the integrity of those journalists. It was the journalist's responsibility to have an unbiased piece. And that is the difference between a journalist and a blogger. I'm a blogger. Somebody who can interject their opinion into things. A journalist needs to gather as many facts as they can, do some detective work, and try to piece stories together from a unbiased perspective, and give both sides of the story and bring it as a news story. And so to see these journalists who review not just Zoe Quinn. This is the thing, okay? It's not just about Depression Quest. It's not just about her game. It's not just about her. These journalists review many other games. So it makes people wonder whether or not they're being honest in their review, or if they're paid for these reviews, or if they give a bad review. Do they have? Is there some inner turmoil there between the writer of any piece and a person that made the game, or what? It questions the entire integrity of the whole system. Um, so that's what I want to throw out there. As far as Brianna Wu is concerned, I really didn't know who she was. Until it was just like all of a sudden it was everywhere that she was getting harassed. And I read her blog yesterday. I actually mentioned in my previous video I read her blog and was just laughing because it was so contradictory. I have been in a position from one of my exes, okay, where I was concerned because he had given personal information, my phone number, my address, to various strangers, and I was getting calls and emails and Facebook messages from people I didn't know with information about my life, having calls to outside my house. I was very, very concerned for my well-being. I was scared for my family. What did I do when I was genuinely concerned for my safety? Okay, not only did I just inform the police of the ongoings, I unplugged the internet. I changed my phone number. I don't think I hardly touched a computer except for school, for probably a good 2.5 to 3 months, until it died down, because My prerogative was making sure my family was safe and I was safe, and it's not worth it to me to lose my life over something. So she's going on about how afraid she is, right? But every 5 minutes she's tweeting about something. And if you're really genuinely concerned that you're being targeted for something and you're saying that you're scared, and yet you're still standing there with the microphone, making yourself an easy target, and you're directing people to the general whereabouts of yourself and your family, that's just stupidity. That to me made it seem like, well, clearly she's not all that scared. If she's going to continue acting like this, clearly she's not all that scared. In the case of Anita Sarkeesian, that threat, from my understanding, was a lot more of an issue. It wasn't just a threat against her if somebody's saying that they're going to go shoot up a school or blow up a school or whatever. And we do take those things very seriously now in the United States, since, in the last couple of years, the amount of school shootings has, soared. In fact, close to where I live, there was just recently a school, somebody made threats against a school, and it was a big deal. So that is scary, and that was wrong for whoever did that. But Anita Sarkeesian stepped down. She stepped away from that. It wasn't worth the risk to her of that being a possibility. So Anita Sarkeesian, in my opinion, did kind of the right thing. Did she let people bully her into maybe not speaking? You could say that, but with the versus the risks, that's personal opinion. Brianna Wu has really, really made it all about her, and I just find her so stupid. I genuinely find her to be a dope. And I feel like people are taking what these women are saying as though it is absolute fact. Yesterday, Brianna Wu was very blatantly caught in a lie about the threats about her game, and that she tweeted it, and somebody posted the data that it didn't match up to what she was saying, and that it was created before her death threats. So it definitely brings her character into question, in terms of, well, what else is she saying that's not true? So I feel like people really, really need to sit down and study some of these people, and their character, and the character that they are showing you over these tweets, these messages, and some of it does not add up. And not to say that she wasn't harassed in some form, because I do think that she was, but I do think it is two-sided. So I don't feel too horribly bad for Brianna Wu. I don't feel too horribly bad for any of them. I don't condone trying to make somebody live in fear, but when your actions afterwards are just kind of blind and idiotic, you need to just take a step back and say, am I really scared, or am I just doing this for attention? Because I truly believe Anita Sarkeesian was concerned in the school that she was speaking for was concerned. I think that even if Anita Sarkeesian didn't receive a threat herself, and the school had picked up some sort of wind of a threat, they wouldn't have wanted her to speak anyway because that is too great of a risk. With Brianna Wu, she's worried about her family, and yet she's not stepping down, but she's not really fighting anything either. She's just kind of making these like blind, jabbing, threatening statements that, oh, Gamergate, you're gonna get it. So we're just gonna kind of see what happens. And the last thing about Anita Sarkeesian that I'm gonna just throw out there for the record, you guys, she's been getting threats for a long time, much longer than Gamergate has been a cultural movement. So to blame any threat that comes to her on Gamergate is a complete crock to just automatically connect it with Gamergate, because she's been receiving threats for quite a while now, and she, should be a lot more used to it. Not that she should be used to it, but it's not a new thing. So that's just where I stand on these three lovely ladies of society, and that's what I think their relation is to the issue right now going around with Gamergate and anti-Gamergate. So thoughts, concerns, comments, whatever, ask me below. Let's talk about it. I would really like to have some kind of discussion about the ongoing, so let me know, you guys. Thank you for watching, and peace out.